Hey guys, I'm Craig, and today for the Snowboard Guide, we're going to check out the 2026 Capita D.O.A, Defenders of Awesome. So this here is the 2026 D.O.A by Capita. D.O.A stands for Defenders of Awesome. And it is a board that I've actually wanted to check out for quite a while now. It's been in the range with Capita for a few years, and it comes in a whole variety of sizes. I think it starts at a 148 and it goes through to a 163 wide. I am riding a 156, so kind of in the middle there somewhere. Looking over it, this is a regular 156. I think there's a wide 156 or 158 wide. There's a few wides in the range, but waist width is 25.2. I'm a Union Force medium binding with a size 10 boot. So 25.2 was fine. Probably wouldn't go too much narrower. Didn't feel like I needed to go any wider. The nose and tail widths are identical at 29.8, which is super cool. It is a centered twin shape. So nose and tail lengths are identical. Stance is centered unless you alter it slightly and you want to give it more of a little bit of a directional stance feel, but it's a twin shape. So identical nose and tail. And what's really cool about this is they have a variety of rockers that Capita are doing, or rockers, I mean cambers and rockers. So between the inserts, you've got traditional camber, and then I believe it's flat, and then it's got a bit of a kick before the natural rise, and that is identical in the nose and the tail. They call it a resort board, and with the flex, it's a twin flex, and they say it's 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 seems kind of soft to me. I felt like it was a little bit stiffer than a 5.5 if I compare it to other boards. But yeah, it felt absolutely perfect. So I really like the flex, but it did feel stiffer than other boards that I'd say would be a 5.5 out of 10. So the D.O.A is probably more of a park all resort sort of shape. It's a centered twin shape, centered stance. I rode it centered. I didn't make a directional. I didn't move anything out or change anything. And this was a whole lot of fun. So we just had the Australian snow season. We're riding like, groomers, side hits, bit of park here and there. Not too much park as I'm getting older, but still cruising around. Couple of jibs here, 180 there, almost a 360 or something where I can. But yeah, the D.O.A was super fun. Yeah, definitely felt really good, riding natural, but also riding switch, being a twin shape, felt very in control. Getting on jibs, sliding, jumping, spinning, felt really natural, felt really, really good, and felt really fast. Over the resort, held its speed over flat sections, got around the resort, between the park and all that sort of stuff really well. I couldn't really fault it. Didn't get any power days on it, and I'd say it's probably not something I would grab for power, but it'd be fine. 10, 15 centimeters, nothing too crazy deep. I'm sure it would hold its own, and you can jam the stance back a little bit or change the stance slightly to give it maybe a bit better feel in power, but not really something I'd be grabbing for power. What did surprise me about the D.O.A is as I'm getting older, I'm starting to enjoy, which is weird because only a few years ago I'd take all my edges off my boards. I'm starting to enjoy putting an edge in. And the D.O.A had a really nice edge, like hold. Not that it had sort of sharp edges, but if you actually wanted to bite a turn in and put a rail in and get down, as low as possible, it felt like it held really, really well. Most sort of centered twin boards that are, softer in their flex and designed more for park aren't something I'd be thinking I'd carve on. I'd probably want a directional shape, something stiffer, maybe something a bit wider underfoot. But surprisingly, the D.O.A felt really nice to carve. The edge felt really nice, great control, and I just really enjoyed it. Not something I would have expected riding a centered twin sort of shape. Overall, the D.O.A is for almost anyone. Someone who's like, getting into the park. The flex isn't too aggressive. It's quite forgiving. It'll get you on jibs, your first jumps, learning to spin, butter, presses, boxes, all that sort of stuff. And then someone who's more of a like intermediate to advanced, sort of a high-end park rider, the D.O.A can do it all. If you're after a park board from Capita, they've got two that I really want to check out in the range this year was the D.O.A, and unfortunately didn't get a chance to check out the Dark Horse. Hopefully next year I can get my hands on a Dark Horse. They were hot cakes this year and I just physically actually couldn't get one. But yeah, the D.O.A is awesome. Feels really nice underfoot, really nice forgiving flex, but not too soft. It'll get you into your first jibs, spins, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, for a more progressive rider, it's really in control. Great landing, great stability at speed, stomping jumps, and all that sort of stuff. I really can't fault it. Overall, I want to thank the guys at Capita Australia for the opportunity to check out the D.O.A, and I hope you get a chance to check one out too. Thanks so much for watching.